Hey y'all, welcome to Other Realm Studio. I'm Paula and I'm working with Clip Studio Paint EX on a Wacom Intuos tablet, and I'm also working with Motion Artist from Smith Micro. And I have about got the entire book trailer for my comic done, except for the voiceover. I am a big chicken and I've been putting it off all day. So I did write myself a script, and yeah, I probably sound a little stupid. It'll be okay. So probably I will make this a shorter stream tonight and then hurry up and do my audio stuff for this and hope that it all works. And then I'll upload it to the Kickstarter. Won't that be fun? So here, I'm going to go ahead and start this so that you can see. I've got my text, it fades out. Here's Becca spinning slowly. I got the text working here. I got this zooming in abruptly here, but not in a jerky way. And I've got this working. All of my layers are working. And here I ran out of things to put that weren't complete spoilers, so I just wrote a little informational page for the end. So there's that. I hope that when I go in here and do this with the, in File, there is a setting here that says Record Audio. And I hope that you record the audio for each scene separately, because I'm not at all sure that I can time what I say to fit perfectly with the scenes without having that already divided up. If anybody knows about this thing, let me know. But so far it's not doing too badly. Oh, and I can even do a preview of the HTML5, which just shows exactly how it would look. And I've also got the transition, that's what it is. I've changed all the transitions to fade to black, and I've made them, I think, 20 frames. So slightly less than a second. So I think I've got it worked out. It's not bad. We're going to be okay. Now what I'm working with here, I was going to use this as the map. I had worked on it a bit. I like the shape of my mountains. I like the overall lay of the land. I like my lakes and my rivers. But I don't think that it actually makes much sense in regards to exactly where things are. I think that Caldera here belongs over here in this area, and this is more mountains, cliffs and such. And then Trader Town's over here. And this is the wrong thing. This needs to go down here. So I have all these places in mind. I just, no wait, this does not go down here. Alright, that belongs where it is. So I think part of my problem is that I had this flipped before, and I'm still thinking of it at least partially flipped. So what I'm going to do is, it's still all in different layers. Let's see, I need to delete this one because that's going to be wrong. And I know that there's software for making maps, but I've just been drawing this one by hand. What I would really love to be able to do is click on a spot on the map, like a city or a mountain or a major landscape element, a landmark. If I could click on it and then it would zoom in and have a picture of it at, you know, ground level, the way you'd be looking at it, that would be awesome. Let's see. Alright, so I'm going to need to move this one. But for now, I need to change my shoreline here. And possibly move the entire thing over. I don't know. But anyway, I was going to include this one in the book. Let me zoom in on it. Get the right color. Yeah, I think I had the darkest shade of brown for these. And my line width, it's been a little while since I've been working on this. Is it 10? At the widest point, I think I was working with somewhere between a 12 and a 17. All right. There. Hey Deborah, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. So I think I'm going to move this one over here, and it's going to be a, oh goodness, there's a word for it. So I can take this and just grab it and move it right here. And I want to erase this one and redo some of the stuff here. So this river is going to expand and come down here, cut through the hills, and lead out into the ocean. That's good. Yeah, I finally got to where I can keep an eye on a few different chats at once. It's just a little bit tricky. Because what I want to do is when I'm drawing, I quieten down, and that doesn't help things a lot. Okay, so the thing in here is that there are two nations in this story. There is Caldera and there is Inek. And Tauren is from Inek, and the country that they are at war with is Caldera. So it's they're very different culturally. I think that this line needs to be a little thicker because it is a much larger river. And between these two nations there was a trading route that would necessarily have to be beside the river or in the vicinity of the river. And let's see. And there's a lake. It's a mountain lake. It comes down here. I need to undo that. I forgot I'm still on the thicker line. Okay, and there are see, I need to move the mountains overall up. Not the hills, but the mountains. Let me see. I'm just trying to figure out right now exactly where and when the things happen in the story. So that will be okay. Here. Then to here. This is about where Becca ends up to start with. And then I'm going to have to take the mountain and move it up here with its description, which I can do by selecting, I hope. I haven't used the selection tool that much. See. Alright, what have I done here? Alright, cut from here. And then I can move it up. No? Still no? What am I doing? Well, I have selected it. It does seem to be separate, but it's not moving. Why? Oh, all right. Just wanted a different tool for that. Sure, why not? I'm also going to need to bring it forward. Let's see, edit. No, I don't need to bring it forward. I need to merge it with the one below. Okay, deselect, so that now lives there, and go into layers, go into merge with layer below, and I can delete this extra copy that I think I made. I don't know what it is anymore now. Okay, so lots of mountains here. And in the foothills. Alright, so I think I have almost all of the waterways done. So now I need to go back to drawing my landscape. So the world that I'm writing the stories about has gone through several different eras, and each series that I write, I'm focusing on a different era of this world. The idea behind it is that not everything is going to have the same historical progression as our world does, because things are dropped from our world into this one, and they don't time has a little less meaning when something's been dropped from this world into the next. Let me undo that one. I didn't like that hill. So the people here can be more medieval over here in Caldera, and the people here in Inek are let's see, descended from Romans who took over some natives who were the lost tribe of well, they weren't native to here either. But yeah, there was a lost tribe that from the Americas that it was probably just as well that they were taken over, because back in the day the original people that had settled this region had some very scary practices. And the lost Roman colony that was partially made from yeah, it's complicated. But yeah, so the lost Roman colony comes in and converts most of the natives to Christianity at the time, because this is and it stopped some of the human sacrifice stuff that was going on. But there are still some people who would rather go back to the old ways. Left scattered in just a few remnants of their population. Don't like that line. Let's see. I'm going to put a few more of the foothills down here. And try not to make them look too regular. Now, Caldera is a roughly medieval kingdom that relies on trade with the sea and through the mountains to the plains and the Inuk. But they're very well protected with a lot of cliffs and hills and mountains in the way. So in one of these eras, there's a huge wall that's built entirely around the country, which they really couldn't have managed to do that without having some natural advantages to the landscape, some natural cliffs. But that's not this era. One of the novels that I'd written before had to do with this era. During which the wall was built entirely around the country, and they had walled off the ocean, and as a consequence, Caldera became a desert. But that's still, 300 or 400 years in the future for this kingdom. Be interesting seeing what the descendants of my characters now are getting up to when I get this series done, and I can finish writing that one. So I think what I want to do is potentially take this forest and move it over here, past the river, near it. But I think I've already flattened, I've already flattened my green area up near the river here, but there would be a forest around here anyway because of all the water. So I think what I'm just going to do instead is grab the name of it and put it over here. So let me think. Oh. Okay, start here, come down here, through here, No. No, that's not right. I might have my mountains in a completely different place. After I did all that work on them too. No, wait, that's right. Alright. I got it. So right now I'm running through the entire plot line of the overall series, which is 10 issues, and the whole thing is a journey. They start here, they go here, here, they have to do a major detour and arrive here, through here, up to here, coming back. Oh yes, lots of stuff going on. But this looks right. So let me see if I can remember which shade of green it was that I used before. Yeah, that looks right. And find my text there and get it out of the way. Nope. Scoot that back. Okay. Now here, if I try to use the paint fill, it will pretty much fill the entire thing green because I don't have this fully sketched in. I might end up just erasing that. Because really, if it's not a forest, like an actual forest, then what's it doing on the map? But it was helpful to see where there would be more greenery. Because of being near the river. Okay, so this should be about it for the placement of everything on the map. So I'll be including this as one of the pages in the comic. And I was going to do some weathering effects around the edges. There's some different things to do. This one, the running color spray, this one is really fun to work with in a dark green because it looks just, I'm going to undo this, it looks just like mold, doesn't it? I like that one a lot. That was fun. One of my favorite projects that I've done was the book cover for Appalling Stories 2 by David Dubrow, or edited by David Dubrow. It was an anthology of a lot of different stories. But yeah, that's the tool that I used to make all the mildew stains on the outside, because he wanted it to look grungy. So there's our... Okay, now this looks more like it's plausible as a different sort of wear, especially if I make it more of a dirty color. And so I'm going to add another layer. We'll bring it up to the top because it would be on top of all this other stuff. And let's see how it looks. There would be a little bit of age speckling on this, but I think what I want to go with to start with is some creases. So let's undo that. Let's redo that. Okay. I just tapped my undo button a couple times too many. And let's look at our decorations. There are lots of kind of weird things over here in the decorations on the Clip Studio program. So there's different kinds of cross hatching. And sand. Well, that might be kind of interesting for a crease effect. And it's also got, these are fun, but I can't really figure out exactly where am I going to use any of this stuff. The lace and the trim and stuff. Vegetation is good to play with. If you need to fill in your background with trees and you don't want to draw a bunch of trees. And these are nice. All the different kinds of flowers. And you can pick whatever color that they that fills them in. I'm going to go back into hatching and use the friction tool to brush in a few creases where the corners of the map would have rolled. And another thing that I'm going to do is erase out part of the edges of it and make it look torn. One of the things that you run into when you do a lot of digital work is it's too easy to make things look perfect. It's too easy to make things look necessarily digital. So weathering is a fun way to get around that, to make you think of more of a history behind what you've created. Alright. Thank you, autosave. Hate to lose my progress, but sometimes I lose the rhythm of the stroke that I've been trying to work with. Okay, so you can see already that this is starting to look more like ripples in the paper or in the vellum or whatever it is. And see, this is a very soft texture, so it's not overpowering. And it's also looking a bit more like the texture that, like a sheepskin or something that they would have drawn a map on would have to it. A little bit of a suede feeling. So it's going to be a few more gentle folds from being rolled up. It's going to have more creases on the corners of it because these would be the edges, and it would be in the best shape coming down the middle. So the edges would see the worst of it. And it would be rolled up in this direction, and it would probably have some wear right in here along both these edges. It is a little bit of an awkward angle to work with for the journey that our heroes take during the story, but this is the proper north-south alignment of everything. Caldera is a southern beach sort of kingdom, and Inek is a fortress up in a very cold area. They have some serious cultural differences as well. Alright, now I'm going to want to do some creases coming up through it. And I need a good tool for that. I don't really want to use the graphic pen. This one might work. I guess I'll take a look. Yeah, this one's not nearly as smooth and slick looking as this pen, but yeah, it's a little rougher. I think I can go a lot bigger on it though. Although it might look a little too pixelated, Let me try this one. No, that one's not going to work at all. I will go with the one that might look a little pixelated. So I haven't been working with a very sensitive tablet. So I'm still getting used to the touch sensitivity on it. So also this is going to be printed on newsprint. I wonder how that's going to turn out. That might add another dimension to the texture of it. I mean, fortunately, nothing important is that close to the edges. So the trim shouldn't be too difficult to deal with. Let's see. I'm going to come down here, roughen up my edges. And follow my fold lines. See, as you can see, it's already starting to look a little more plausible. So it's alright for the corners to look a little chewed. And I wanted to erase this and put in kind of a shredded mark. Or well. I'll have to check the other colors. I wanted a slightly yellowish tone that was still pretty pale. And come back here to, well, let me finish. Okay, so if you've ever seen a sheepskin, you'll know that there's a couple of layers to it. So that's what I'm trying to keep in mind here. And back to the default set. Do this a little bit darker. And also a little bit on this side. This is probably going to be trimmed out of the comic itself. You have to allow, you know, your safe zone. Which, come to think of it, I need to move some of my names in a little bit so that they don't get cut off. See, this can get moved over here just fine. And this one, anything else close? Really, this one should be fine. I mean, so I'll try and cluster things a little bit closer to the middle, just to be sure that they don't, so that no names actually get lost in the trimming process. And this looks a little crowded in right here, so I will figure out where that is and scoot it down. This is more accurately the plains area anyway. Alright, I'm going to zoom out of this a little more. Try and get a better idea of the overall picture. And figure out what else does it need. Right here. Nope, not that one. This layer. Alright, so I do like where this line is going, but I don't like where it ends up down here necessarily. So I'm going to darken in this bit and make a few more ripples. And I think I can erase some of it right here. And I think it could use a bit more weathering, especially along the bottom. I might need to go poking around through the effects a little bit more and find one or two more textures to use. As this right here is really just a little bit of dirt caught in the ripples where it's been rolled up. Maybe a little more dirt some areas than others. I'll darken that in. So I should be launching the Kickstarter to get the pre-orders for the comic so that I can get it printed and all. Should be launching that on Friday. Yeah, this Friday. So I'm excited. I'm also terribly nervous about it because, you know, I haven't actually shown this story to a lot of people. And it's scary to let it go. But if I don't let it go, then nobody's going to read it. And wouldn't that be self-defeating? So the best part about this is that a digital copy of the comic the comic, is only going to be a couple dollars. And for a physical copy, it'll only be $3 plus some shipping. I had hoped to make it even less, but I still have to pay to have the copies shipped to me. And I will be spending a lot of time unpacking them and repacking them and sending them out. And there's also packaging to buy for that. I don't have a big stack of comic packing materials because they are a little bit fragile. They're not like books. You know, I really like my ripple effect I have going in this corner, right here where it's shredded up a bit. So I would like to make this one a little bit darker as well. Let's quit being timid about my weathering effects. And what else do we have? What are some other good effects? There's some interesting stuff through here. Yeah, maybe none of that. Now this is an interesting splatter. They called this one Bloodstain, which, yeah, I can see that, but you don't have to make it one. Could be any sort of random splatter of something. Could be ink. Could be just really grimy. So let me zoom in on that one and I'll see how it looks with the rest of my creases and dirt and weathering and stuff. I'll fit to screen. Alright, I might want to make my particle sizes a little bigger. Maybe? Now, the more I look at it, the more I like it. So I'm just going to go around the outside edges here. And brush in a couple spots. And again, there's not going to be a lot of spots down into the middle of the map because that's going to be rolled up and there won't be... Oh, that might be too much speckling. Let's zoom out. Come on, zoom out. There it goes. Well, that's not bad. Just looking at it so close, it looked huge. You can see where this will be a fairly old weathered map. Not terribly old though. Then, of course, I'll have to do something about the lettering. Yep, my nemesis, lettering. Because I will in order to have this print correctly, I'll have to have the letters in a separate file or in a separate layer. Let's see. Yeah, I think I can delete this one. I had started it on here for... Okay. So yeah, I was going to have to make sure that the letters are in a separate file, a separate layer, so that when it's printed, it'll all show up correctly. And I don't know, I just hope I'll be able to do that. So here's our map. It's going to be included. I like the weathering effects. I think it makes the whole thing look more interesting. And, you know, three-dimensional and all that. It makes it into better art. So let me make sure I save that. I would really hate to not have all that work saved. Okay, so this isn't bad. I thought I had a lot more work to do on it to make it accurate to the story, but really all I had to do was minor scooting around. It's fine. I don't know, I still might need to move this forest a little bit. Possibly. Okay, so there's that. And wow, it's already 10 o'clock. Can't believe it. I was also going to work on my fairy again, but I've already been on just about an hour. And I need to save at least a little bit of my voice so I can work on doing a voiceover and not sound creaky. So, well, wish me luck. Thank you for being here, keeping me company. Releasing Soulbound Issue 1 Adrift on Friday, so come back and I will give you the link to that then. Have a good night, and I'll see you in the other realm. Bye.